right away, don't waste time. Ready? First, maybe a little introduction to people who don't know much about submission. Let's sit down. Like with the Kimura, we're starting. There's several ways to do it. There's this old, racy kind of way, which is once you're here, it's strong. It's super strong. Most people will dislocate once the hand goes to the neck, but there's somebody here she doesn't. It just doesn't. But getting here is really hard. It means he fucked up multiple times and it's way below me or 3 times weaker. Then there's the actual, I believe, the good one. If you get his arm far away, no matter how it can be reversed, anything, just far away from him and just turn while pinning him in some way, either by sitting on him or squeezing him. Like Chakare beat Marcelo Garcia that way because he knew Marcelo is great, so he just went full retard and overpowered him. Then there are those much less known ones, like here. Like the angle, look, his shoulder is already coming up. It means if I pin it somehow, it's already over here. Worse, even here. It's actually dangerous. If you're a beginner and think, yeah, I need to bring his arm behind there, if you do like, it's gonna just dislocate much earlier. He's already escaping because he knows it. Like the range here ends much earlier. It's already here, the limit. Which brings me to the next point. The shoulder needs to be pinned. If I don't pin his shoulder, no matter how hard I rip, if he's an experienced grappler, he will just roll with it somehow. It's always gonna end some chaos. You have to be aware of the angles where you can finish, yeah? And that the shoulder either pinned by actual pinning or by being caught in space, by just like, let's say something like this. He can stand up with me, but I'm still gonna turn his arm, you know? Like I attach myself to it, it's like pinned. So keep that in mind. And now let's start with the actual thing I want to show. I'm right there, so let's turn like this. Like, this works from every Kimura position, so you can try it from everywhere. From bottom, you need to be a bit more aware that his arm is not caught between the floors. Just lay down straight. Normally we are taught wrist to wrist, and that's cool, right? But it's actually not. Because, yeah, if he doesn't defend and I'm here, yeah, then it's strong. I can just lean into it, pin his shoulder and go like that in many ways, many different ways. It can be here, all kinds of stuff. But getting there is really hard. It's always the problem. They just do this or this, and they're just strong, or it's gi, and they just do this. And then we go like this. I'm like, yeah, I have my grip, he has a defense, but I have my grip, so I'm going to be like, and either it works because I just overpower him, or it doesn't, and we both get tired, and it's kind of the opposite of what jiu-jitsu should be, right? So I like it from here because this is a very powerful position to do it, but you can try it from many other positions. So I advise you to first try it from top. Look, I go here, and what I don't want is all this space between us, like this space here, even this little space here where my nose in. Yeah. I want to eliminate all of this. I want to make this arm part of my body. I cannot stick it in my body, so I cannot just hug it. I can just hug it really tight. So how do you do this? Well, you shorten your arms, especially good for long limb people. This, or do this, or both, variations of it. Also, what's good about it, you don't hurt your wrists. I have a student, I taught them to spin out of Kimuras violently, and he fucked up my wrist every 3 months. And once I was laying here, and like, it's a really good position to start a Kimura, but my wrist was fucked up already, and I wanted to grab it, and I was like, no, he's gonna break my wrist. And I was just thinking, but I have a good position. And then I was like, maybe like this. And then I just submitted him really easily, which usually takes like 2-3 rounds to submit him. And I was like, okay, I'm onto something. And the next time I tried to do both. I did this and this, and it got even easier. Yeah, like connect your hands, do a little defense. This takes a lot. I can do it. I can do all kinds of things and maybe make it work. But just doing this makes it much more stressful for him. See, he's okay? Yeah. He's suffering. And he's not a weak guy, he's big. So this alone makes it much harder. But you have to keep in mind to pin the shoulder. If you just have this, it's strong. It's like he almost cannot prevent me doing this, but he will get up and we will both roll around and it might end up like, go to your knees. Like, other way. We might end up here, which is still fucked up for him because I will continue. But it will be like an endless thing. So you need to pin the shoulder somehow. Yeah? There we go. Yeah. Start. First, try this one. That's the one weakness you need to address. You need to bend the wrist, right? can do it like this, like Francesco does it like this sometimes because of his wrist, I think. Not get hurt. I like this one, it's the most painful for him. Sorry. This one is like the most controlling because it bends quite far. He has to like punch his arm quite far back. And this one is like the most safest, the least stressful for me. Yeah? So first try it with this arm, with this grip normally, but this one, like as if you have no hand, no finger, and even no wrist, so you just turn your arms into straight pose and go like this. Yeah? And then you slowly put your weight on it, also on his shoulder, that's important. And this is important, don't stay like this, he's gonna just straighten his arm, and then you have to go for something else. So once you pin it, ideally before even, I should go on the floor and keep him like this. And then you can still add more of it. If you can't bring him down before, then bring the elbow there. Look, I just do it always with this. I almost never grip Kimuras anymore, I only do this stuff. But for understanding it first, just go for this one. Even the leverage changes a bit. And it's very interesting. And then pin him. Yeah. That's the first thing. Once you get comfortable with this, try it with both. Because then it gets really close to his arm and it slowly feels like your arm belongs to me and not to you anymore. I can use my whole body to jerk it every way and just like, yeah? So that's pretty much all for the first 20 minutes. I will add some freaky stuff later, but maybe just start doing this for a while and then for the advanced guys I'll add some funny finishes, some extras. One thing, come a bit closer. Don't be too greedy with it. Once you start understanding it and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm always gonna do it like this. Let's say from bottom, it does work, but if you do it too early, he's just gonna like jerk his arm out. Yeah, you have to be, this one should at the start always be there. It can be even like this. Yeah? But then once you feel like, okay, I'm kind of tight, then I can continue like this. And here it's pretty interesting. The people are still strong, like, but just extend and then do it. It's pretty hard to stop that. It's easier to stop that if I have this distance between me and him. Then I can still go hard, but he can also go against it if he's physically strong. But here I shorten this way, kind of load the spring, can even hold the elbow, be like this, and then just extend it. It's much harder for him to stop this. Because it's like, I don't know, the distance is like a deadlift. He's trying to stop that deadlift. And the other one is just like trying to stop the last few inches of the deadlift. It's much easier, a complete thing. Yeah, so let's try this. Yeah, let's go. So I hope you enjoyed the first part. Play around with this, like depending on which position, it can be very different. But it's really nice to play around with. You're gonna feel the difference in not getting tired and the difference in suffering of your opponent. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Down, just a little, like a few pointers. It gets much more simple also in high scramble situations where people are very fast. You don't have to have like this really proper grip and everything. You just have to manage one arm somehow under him and the other one on top. And eventually, no matter how he spazzes or explodes, as long as I keep one under his shoulder and one here, eventually I will end up there. Because this is okay for starters. It's like kind of going on a rail and keeping it there, no matter what he does. Yeah? Like if he let's bridge, like tile bridge or something, yeah, I'll still end up there, almost always. And once I have this, I can like actually quite controlled slide into position. Yeah? Sorry. Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Somehow get one arm under and the other on top, like not right away. Don't be too green. It doesn't have to be here right away. It can be just somewhere here. And then you slowly slide in. Yeah? A little extra that has not much to do with this, but I have to show some weird stuff that nobody knows. Yeah? Everybody thinks I want the Kimura and they wait for this moment to go full apeshit crazy, but instead I just do this. It's I call it the no Kimura because it's a shoulder lock, but it's not a Kimura. I won once a match like in 7 seconds with this, and the guy was like, what? So just by the way, you can try it later if you want. So let's continue with the Americana. It's pretty much the same situation, Also with the scramble thing, you have to just get one arm under and somehow pummel this one here. Yeah. And here, actually, I fucked up a guy with this, a student, but I was careful, but the guy looked at it and he's kind of advanced, so he was like, I'm not tapping the bullshit. And I was just like, okay. And then I wanted to be nice, so I called it a Dominicano because his name is Dominic. The good thing here is like the Americana, usually like the beginners, everybody does it like this and it never works. You have to do, not because everyone thinks it's like, okay, Kimura like this, Americana like this, but no, it's more like going there. That's a good Americana. And again, pinning. Yeah? But with this one, you don't need to get this nice angle. As long as I can just like in high, like I just pass and just want to go to the side one, I just drop myself. And I'm already there. Even though his arm is kind of not in the ideal Americana position, but if you do it like this, you feel it's different. I just have to kind of extend and it's already enough. I don't even have to bother doing this really good one. But if I do it, it's actually worse. Even if I'm in this slightly shitty one, it's still sometimes enough. You just need to not get up. That's the problem. Then he will start turning like, yeah, exactly. And then, here, second. A little extra for preventing him escaping, because it's really hard to always pin him perfectly and be super calm in your mind. You tend to like, you just want to finish and your body leaves him, and that's bad. So to have like a second line of safety, at least have one leg like here, or even just hooking the leg, it's going to make it harder for him. Or even just being close to him. Just try to have your weight somewhere on him, and if it's really strong, he will always stretch his arm out. But this doesn't matter. I just lay down on his arm and do the same shit. Yeah, it's a really horrible angle. Like it doesn't look like much, but it's actually quite horrible. Even without pushing, it's just like hard yoga. Even here, like it's really hard to prevent him from me getting to there. You can do it like this, like this. This is again the most painful in terms of just grinding, and this is the most controlled. And this is like, I feel like the safest for the wrists. You can switch them up, whatever feels right for you. Yeah, let's see, I try to, again, be really close to his arm. Yeah, no distance, I want really to be one with his arm, basically. Okay? So let's try. What I noticed, okay, you have to get it first, especially at beginners, but try to play around with it a lot. Either move this arm and try how it works, then move the other one, and then try it with both. It's like, it makes a lot of difference, and you'd only got an hour. I can keep explaining which one is when effective. So that's also the fun part. You try it yourself, and then I always say the good jiu-jitsu comes from yourself. You have to explore yourself. I can just give like a little lead, a little help. Okay, so next one. Let's get started. Going to be the Toehold. You can imagine it's kind of similar, Toehold, Kimura, Americana. Just one thing, it's great that Michael did the class before because he did all the important things that I don't need to waste time on all the basic stuff. The only thing he also mentioned is that you should not do is this type of thing where you just squeeze his leg and try to make it. Like, yeah, I literally make him escape by wasting my energy. If you want the Toehold, either do it like Michael showed, by pinning his whole body, or for example, you can also, there are situations like scrambled situation where you just have one leg kind of controlled, yeah, and then do this. Because now it's harder for him to roll out because his other leg is a bit stuck. Yeah, I can also do something like this. It's like millions of situations where this can happen, but you just need to prevent him from rolling and extending his leg. And also the thing with the toes in the butt, like I can easily put my toe in my butt. It just might make me unhappy, but it doesn't do nothing else to me. So I always say, he said, toes to knee tip, that's also great. I even say, you want to make his heel, his soles touch his own calf. That's the most extreme. Nobody in this planet should be fine with that, you know? So that's what I'm trying to achieve. And the other thing is, you can skip the controlling part almost if you can pin him. So toes from top are really powerful. And you don't even have to be that technical. You just kind of have to drop your body in some way onto him. And of course, be careful not to get heeled. But usually if you do it in one step, it's too fast to counter me. Like here, he can't roll out because I'm on him, unless he's much, much heavier than me. You okay? Yeah. Don't worry, I'm not gonna rip. Like, yeah, what you learned in the morning is a lot of details here with the grip. Again, as much friction as possible, which also goes along with what I showed before. As much connection with the skin, basically like what they call the skin hanging, like because of friction it gets like stuck. Yeah? And again, eliminating all that space. Like I don't want this here, I don't want this little hole here, it's useless. Yeah? You want to make his foot yours, like you're a super perverted foot fetish. Yeah. And by dropping myself, like you would imagine this kind of faster when you're grabbing, I'm just, you know, and you can't really do it that way, at least not with your training partners, but that's how it's supposed to be. We say jiu-jitsu, but it's actually killing art, you learn to cripple it. You know, it's just, it makes it jiu-jitsu because you give him the chance to give up. It's like very philosophical. I like that a lot. Yeah. So this, for example, you can also be like somewhere here is kind of more like, I don't know how to call it, it's like stupid, but it still works. It's like impolite, just like stepping on him. You can step over, drop your butt on him, make him go like, and then finish him. Yeah. And one thing I really like a lot is, you know what the harakiri is when they kill themselves? This is what a good toehold looks like. Against flexible people. Most people don't even get there. You bend, most people die there already. But if those meow brothers don't die there, you have to start this again. Yeah, so if he was a meow brother, I would have to bring his toe to my own belly button and then kind of cut it open. If he had very sharp toenails, I could actually kill myself like this. But you know, that's the idea of it. Yeah, and then now we get to that point that makes it, that connects with what I showed before, to even add more power. Yeah, I eliminate all that space here, this space here, this space here, by making my arms shorter. Yeah? I can grab, but I don't necessarily have to. Again, if he's pinned on the floor, I'm going to show one variation, then it's the strongest because he can't even, it can happen that he slips here. Yeah, it can happen. So you can also grab. There's also variations to do it like this. Yeah, it's almost like a heel hook. I mean, it does affect the knee if you do it a little. Like, be aware of it at least. Don't just rip it because it's pretty bad if you, it's bad if you injure it here, but it's worse here, and it's too bad if it's even accidental. Like, if I'm mostly connected to his foot, it will most likely break his foot, but if I'm a bit more connected to the rest of his leg, it might fuck up the knee, you know? So just try that way. You can do this way or step on him, whatever you feel like, just drop your weight on him and try to connect yourself as much as you can to his body, to his foot, to his leg, and then bring his toes basically to his calf, to your belly button. And if that's not enough, just turn sideways. But be very careful, don't do everything at once and not fast. Yeah? And now the one variation, you want the other leg? Is this one tired?
I don't even know.
Okay. Take this one. Okay. The most powerful variation I would say is when you drop yourself that way and just extend. It's like this Dena Kimura thing where you don't finish by bringing the hand behind, but just pin and bringing the elbow up. It's the same with the foot. Yeah, so let's say I'm here and I just drop here. It doesn't even matter if you're trying, but you just drop. And now I'm kind of like I'm running away in this direction. I just lift. This one is pinned, ideally like this, because that's what I taught before with the other submissions. And then just lift this one. And be very careful with this one. It's extremely strong. Yeah? Any questions?
Can you do the same lift as the Kimura?
Yeah, that's what, of course, that will be even better, even more strong. But just be aware, again, not be too greedy. If you just go for it right away, it might slip. So I would always start, like if you're a very experienced leg locker, you can even without much, there's always this principle, first get into position like, I go here and then I chase stuff. But you can do it the completely other way around, and the really good guys do that. Like Mikey Musumeci with this Mikey lock, he has this grip and it looks often like he's just, holding onto the leg and doing like, eventually he gets them. And they don't get, even without any, like, the proper Mikey lock is like, something like this. Yeah, he just stays there, even like this, they cannot get away. He just slides in again and again. And this Polish guy, Szczecinski, also does it kind of like this. So this is definitely legit. So you can actually just go into the position first and then get the leg, yeah? So it definitely works. You just need to be, like I said, like a foot fish. Just connect to the leg and then add those little details. Yeah?
Can you show the last variation one more time?
Yeah. Like this is a very open one. Like during any times when his legs are apart and there's a bit of space, I can first take the grip, or I can just grab up there. Yeah. But be aware, if I go up, he's gonna roll. So I have to have something on his hip, basically pinning him. Yeah. Can be also like this. But that's a good part. It doesn't have to be a super proper control. You just have to pin his hip for 3 to 5 seconds and just rip it. But when you compete, I mean, professional. Okay? So let's go.
So be very careful not to.
A little bit of weird stuff. Let's get back to the Kimura. There's a little nice thing which goes really well along with this, because once you're here, you might also get here. This is control-wise really nice. If I just do this, no matter what's going on, I'm gonna stay here forever. Like I just need to like little counterbalances to his bridges and stuff that he does. It's like so tight, he's never gonna get away. It's not yet a slicer, but it's a super good control. And there's one thing you can do, like slide a bit up and just kind of jerk sideways. Like. And then, he just is afraid because it was a bit violent, but you do this and then you can still finish. Yeah, this way. And there's one more thing which it works well against beefy people with big biceps. But if you are one of those and he's one of those, it's going to be too tight, you're not going to get it. One of them has to be lanky. So, or if both are lanky, then it works, but lanky people usually, it's hard to slice them with the biceps. But just try it. Yeah? Get this arm up, see that hole? Put your other arm here and get it down again. Yeah, see, he's already tapping that. Actually, you have to go all the way through, but you can also just make a fisty. And then this one cuts into the forearm and you kind of extend, like this one goes like this and the other one, yeah. Most people do the mistake here that they just think, like without moving this one, they just have to, you're never gonna get through here. I can't even get my thumb through, yeah. You have to go up, put the hand here and go down again. And then it might work. And once you're here, you're kind of grinding with this one and doing like, it's almost like a collar choke kind of movement, yeah? So just this control, it's a pretty nice thing as a control alone and as a pre-step before you start finishing, yeah? Against strong people, you can surprise them by using all your power to separate the arm from his body, yeah? And then this slicer thing, it's situational. Sometimes you just, if there's like just too much muscle on both sides, this opening is too small. So you can go for it, but if you feel it's not there, just stay with it. Continue with the other stuff. Yeah? With the Americana, this also works, but usually not as slicer, not as submission, but as control. You can stay pretty well here and wait for your chance to eventually do the normal finish. Yeah. So, any questions to that? Anything? Ideas? No? Good, then try to play around with it, yeah? Like I saw a lot of people, I mean, you have to first understand the stuff, but there's, depending on the situation, where the arm is, yeah. Even like a completely different position, even here. There are Kimuras here, but they work also when you do them very technical, but they are hard to finish, but like this, suddenly they get much easier to finish, yeah? So if you are a fan of Kimuras, try to switch your Kimuras up with this idea and they might even get a bit better. Yeah? So I hope you enjoyed it. That's it.